stepping in. Your one-stop review, let it sink in. Hip-hop vibes, we break it down. Laughs and insights all around. Every episode, spitting truth. Old school jams and the latest youth. We keep it real, no sugarcoat. Pop culture on the mic we wrote. So tell your friends and hit subscribe. Snake Cinema here to vibe. Tune in weekly, don't miss a beat. We're the hottest review in your street. Snake Cinema Podcast, stepping in. You want some review, let it sink in. Hip-hop vibe, we break it down. Laughs and insights all around.
What it do, what it do. Welcome to a very special edition of Snake Cinema Podcast. I am your host, Snake Prince Elias, and today we're doing a bonus episode. This is not a part of the docket. This was super last minute, and it is pre-recorded because as of you're all watching this on Saturday. I will be in Jackson, Tennessee, because my nephew moves into his college dorm, and there's also going to be a reptile show that same weekend. So after I check in on my nephew and make sure he's straight, going to a reptile show to pick up a new PVC cage enclosure for my retic Juju. So I'm super excited about that. If you follow me, Creative Reptiles, on Instagram, you will see all of that, all those updates and fun stuff. And I might vlog while I'm there at the reptile show in Jackson. But also this weekend, as of recording, is Daytona. Now, I had planned to go to Daytona, but because of, family obligations and everything, couldn't do it. So I had to cancel this trip, but hopefully I will make next year's Daytona. And also I'm planning and hoping I can make Tinley in March. We'll see next year. But for those who are traveling, all my reptile friends, family, Wiz Tank Clan, the usual suspects, everybody who are going to Daytona, please be safe. The V unit, please be safe, drive safe, fly safe, and don't get arrested while you're down there partying on the beach. And I will be living vicariously through y'all on Instagram and YouTube and everything else that y'all post, y'all videos, TikTok and stuff like that. But anyways, because of all of that, I decided to pre-record this episode during the week. I just got off work, super tired, but I wanted to make a special episode covering all the things I didn't talk about last weekend with D23 Expo. I talked about all the announcements they made Friday night, but they made even more announcements, bigger, better announcements Saturday and Sunday. So this episode, I'm covering that news and giving my thoughts, whether I loved it, whether I hate it, all that jazz. But first, before we do that, let's go ahead and pay some bills. This episode and every episode is brought to you by our channel sponsors: Mutation Station, Lucy Land Ball Pythons, Candy Lady Creations, Flexin' and Finessing Reptiles, and Shed Outfitters. Thank y'all. And without y'all support and help, I couldn't be as swag as I am today. And speaking of which, I just got a shipment in from Candy, and I'm going to preview that right now. Candy Lady Creations, or AKA Ohana Scales on Instagram. She does my merch. She does everything except the backpacks. But once she can get the machinery to do that, she's going to be my one-stop shop. But I go to Printify for the backpacks and things like that. But she does everything else. And I told her with the YouTube anniversary special that we did back in May, I only wanted two things made. One for me and one for the people who won the giveaway, the drawing. And those people, if they have not gotten their stuff yet, they should be getting it soon. She's been shipping it out. A lot of stuff has been going on, but it's coming. I promise y'all it's coming. So if you won something at giveaway, it is coming. But I did get my sample, my share. And let me show y'all a little bit. We got the tumbler cup. It's nice. And she even did the words. I don't know if y'all can see that. Creative Reptiles. Now, I did drop this today at work, so it got a little bit of scratch at the bottom, but that's because I dropped it on the concrete rock at work while I was at recess with my students while they were playing at the playground. But the cup is beautiful. The ice has been in here all day. Ice water, I've had it here all day while I was at work on my 8-hour shift. So it keeps your stuff cool. You still here? I have not refilled it up yet. And of course, we got the hat, the snapback or trucker hat. And then we also have the sorry about that. Let me take the background off. Sorry, so y'all can see better. Take the virtual background off for a second. So y'all can see. Then we have the bucket hat. Super nice. Love it. And then, of course, had to get the t-shirt. So I will be rocking this probably next week on next week's podcast. The t-shirt for the YouTube anniversary. And she even threw in a bonus thing that I did not ask for, but I loved it and I used it while I was at work. She made me a mouse pad. So shout out to my sponsor, Candy Lady Creations, aka Ohana Scales on Instagram. If you want to follow her, DM her at Ohana Scales with the Z on Instagram, because her Candy Lady Creations page got hacked. She no longer has control of that. She can't read DMs, none of that. So go to Ohana Scales in with the Z on Instagram and get your merch. And this is nice quality. Like I said, I used this mouse pad while I was at work today, and I'll be using it during this podcast. But yeah, dope merch. I love it. I love it all. It's amazing. It's amazing. So shout out to all of my channel sponsors, but especially Candy, because she came in clutch with that. And like I said, for those who won the giveaway, if your stuff has not came in the mail yet, it is coming. It is coming. A lot of stuff, a lot of the things like the t-shirt and stuff, the company the factory she shops at ran out. And so she had to wait till they restock, but they're coming. Trust me. If you haven't gotten it, it should be on the way. Hopefully by the time you come back from Daytona, you should have your stuff in the mail, but I'll keep y'all posted. But thank y'all. Now, before we begin, and if y'all noticed on our YouTube logo, as you can see right there at the top corner, our YouTube logo and even, anniversary, as you can see, we have a ball python with the YouTube logo, the play button. But if you notice, the ball python has Mickey ears. And for those who never watched my anniversary episode where I talked about the background of my vlogging and my YouTube journey, I've been YouTubing for over 12 years now. And it started off as a Disney channel. I was a Disney content creator because I was working at the theme parks at the time while I was in college, and I was vlogging while I was at the theme park, talking about Disney topics, just being a Disney nerd, a Disney adult, as they like to say, and I still am. But when I no longer worked there and I had to move back home to Memphis, I did not want to stop vlogging, did not want to let the vlogging go, but luckily I had fell into the reptile community, fell into the reptile world, and fell in love with ball pythons and snakes in general. And so I just used the channel. I pivot and I used the channel to document my journey as a reptile keeper and snake owner and everything else. And the beginning journey of creative reptiles. Y'all followed my journey with the photo shoots and the educational shows and all that jazz, the unboxings, the snakes, everything. So that's why I threw the Mickey ears on their logo to honor the beginning years as a YouTuber. And so since this is a special episode, I decided to use this episode to geek out and nerd out the only way I can over Disney news, specifically the Disney news that dropped at D23 Expo on Saturday night and Sunday night. And a lot of it had to do with theme parks. Now, we'll be touching on some movies and maybe some TV shows. It depends. But for a fact, we are talking mainly the theme parks, mainly the cruise line, because that's pretty much what I was a part of. That was my world back in the day. When I was working for the Walt Disney Company, I was a theme park cast member. So I know all about that shit. And a lot of these announcements I'm super excited about. Some I'm a little disappointed and sad, but I'm still excited about the future and what the future holds. Because one thing I do trust Disney on is when it comes to rides and attractions and theming and characters in their theme park, specifically Walt Disney World. Now, there was some great news in Disneyland, which I will touch on, but specifically Walt Disney World. So I want to talk about that stuff and nerd about this stuff. So I hope y'all continue to watch today's episode and geek out with me in the comments. But let's begin. So last Saturday's podcast, before I reviewed the movies and musics and albums that I reviewed that day, I talked about everything that they announced on Friday night, which was a lot of the big stuff, like the Disney movies, as far as the live action remakes, the animation, Pixar with Toy Story 5 and Incredibles 3. Those were my biggest highlights of Friday night's announcements. But they also made some more announcements on Saturday. And so they did talk about Zootopia 2 coming out. And after seeing the previews and the links, I'm kind of excited. Well, I love the first Zootopia. The first Zootopia was amazing. Oh, and before we begin with that, shout out to a Disney, a Disney fan run company on Instagram called 100 Acre Hood. Yes, 100 Acre Hood. I've been following them since the beginning of their business, and I believe the owner name is Chad. Shout out to Chad. But he made this hat. He drew the design and everything and made this hat. It says bootleg Disney hat with a bootleg Mickey Mouse on it. This hat, I love this hat. As soon as I saw it, I bought it. So tip of the hat to Chad. And then also shout out to Lost Bros clothing company. They designed this Maleficent and Sorcerer Mickey t-shirt that I'm wearing. So I decided to rock Disney gear. Usually on these podcasts, I'm always rocking Snake shirts, people from the community, a lot of my friends merch. I decided to do the Disney. So please follow and shop at Lost Bros on Instagram, as well as 100 Acre Hood on Instagram. Some of my favorite Disney style merch. Super cool, super comfortable, and they have big boy sizes. I think they go up to like 3 and 4X's on most of their designs. But yeah, just wanted to shout them out. But yeah, back to the D23 news. As far as movies go, I'm excited about Zootopia because they decided that they're going to give us a snake character in the sequel. Now, I have no idea because they did not drop a trailer. They did not drop any trailer. They just did conception art and just talked about it a little bit, but they had a couple of stars out on stage to talk about it. But there is a snake character. We don't know if they're going to be a villain, a hero, a side character, a quick cameo, but I'm super excited about that. And then I also did talk, I could not remember the name of the Star Wars show, but now I know it's called The Skeleton Crew. It looks good. The teaser trailer that they dropped, that's a TV show that's going to be on Disney Plus. It's Star Wars. The teaser trailer looks like it's going to be good. I'm pretty excited about it. And it's starring Jude Law, and I love him as an actor. So I'm pretty pumped about that. Of course, I am more pumped about the Marvel TV show Agatha All Alone, because it's going to be a comedy, a horror comedy, whatever, with the character Agatha from Harkness from the WandaVision show. So I can't wait. And it's going to be dropping around Halloween time. So y'all know I go big on Halloween. Halloween is my favorite holiday. So we're definitely going to review that series when it comes out. And then, so that was all as far as movies and TV shows. Everything else I talked about in last week's episode. So go back and watch that if you missed it, where I talked about most of their movies and stuff and TV shows that they got dropping now. Saturday was the big theme park news, and that is what I want to talk about. Like I said, I used to be a Disney cast member at Disney World. I did merchandise at the Epcot theme park um, back in 2009. And then in 2012, I worked at Magic Kingdom in there doing the rides in Tomorrowland. So I did the Stitch attraction. I did the little rocket ships you go up in the air. I operated that ride. I did the People Mover, and I did I know I'm missing one. I know I'm missing one. It was like four. Uh Charged to my head, not my heart. Oh, the Speedway Racers. I did that a couple times. I wasn't really that wasn't my home thing. The little race cars, that wasn't my home base, but I worked those. I worked that as well. So super fun, super amazing. I love working at the theme parks. I miss it. I actually do. And when I go on vacation, I just love talking with the cast members and mingling with them and geeking out over stuff. And it's just I miss that vibe. But life took a turn, and now I'm a teacher and reptile breeder. So never thought I'd see that day. But anywho, let's talk about all the fun, amazing, and even maybe some sad news dealing with the theme park. So the president, Josh, I want to say Josh Tomorrow, but I could be getting his last name wrong. He came out and did a panel at the Honda Center in Anaheim, California, announcing everything with the theme parks. And he even had Deadpool come out and joke on the Disney theme parks, like how the Yeti's always broken and stuff like that. But which those clips online had me cracking up. Because it's Deadpool constantly saying, fix the Yeti, fix the Yeti. And if you go to Disneyland with the Matterhorn, or if you go to Animal Kingdom with Expedition Everest ride, those Yetis are always broken. Always. But anyways, with the big resort news, what I'm super excited about, they did announce that in Hollywood Studios, okay, this is Florida. We're talking Florida first, and then we'll get to Disneyland. Um, in Hollywood Studios, they are going to give us a Monsters Inc. land. So if you're a fan of Pixar's Monster Inc., you're going to get a land, including a roller coaster, an actual coaster, where you're like rushing through the little monster factory on those little magical doors that they go into the monsters go into the real world with. So it's going to be a legit roller coaster, which I'm super excited about that. And then over in let's continue with Disney World. I don't want to drop to Disneyland right quick. Um, the biggest news and the saddest for me is that Dinosaur in Animal Kingdom, the dinosaur ride, the Dino Land, is getting taken away. RIP. I love the dinosaur ride. And so I am sad about that, but I'm actually excited. I mean, I still got dinosaur merch in my apartment. On top of my snake cage, I have like the little dino plush and stuff like that. I still got merch and t-shirts and stuff um in my house from back in the day that I'm hanging on to. I'm not letting them go. That's vintage now. Nowadays, it will be no longer because they're creating a whole new land dedicated to Encanto, which I'm excited. The whole Encanto section, and then the dinosaur ride, the dark ride, is going to be turned into an Indiana Jones ride. So the ride itself is going to be the same, like you're in a car going through some things in the dark. The ride itself, the ride mechanism is not changing, but the theming is. So it's going to go from dinosaurs to you're going on adventure with Indiana Jones, trying to find whatever hidden treasures, whatnot. But I'm actually excited. I'm very optimistic, and I trust Disney when it comes to things like that. Um, I haven't ridden the ride, but from what I've seen online, I'm loving the new Tiana makeover that they did with Splash Mountain. And so I'm not complaining one bit. I will miss the dinosaur ride. It's very nostalgia for me, but I'm actually embracing. I'm not gonna be one of those people crying and whining on lots about they taking away my ride. I'm not gonna do that bullshit. I'm actually excited about the Indiana Jones and the Encanto attraction, and so I'm pumped about that. That was like the biggest news for Walt Disney World. And then, well, almost. That isn't the biggest news. I'm gonna say the biggest one for last. That was the second biggest news. And then also in Magic Kingdom, they're gonna take away Tom Sawyer Island, which is it's been a ghost town. I know some people love it and they're complaining online that Tom Sawyer Island is going away and like why do they have to take it? It's so nostalgia. Ain't nobody been there. Ain't nobody been. It's been collecting dust and cobwebs. Let's just keep it with a book. A lot of people complaining about Tom Sawyer Island have not been over there to that section of the theme park in a long time. Long time. So it needs to be go. It's just a waste of land. So they're gonna gut all that, change all that, take away the rivers of America, and put in a Cars attraction, Radiator Springs Cars attraction. And so I think that's going to be fun. Matter of fact, I think they said they're going to do two major attractions. So you're going to get two attractions on that. And then here's the big news for me, and a lot of other people, a lot of Disney fans. For me, the biggest fucking news that come out of Walt Disney World. That's why I'm wearing this shirt for this episode. They are giving us a villain's land in the Magic motherfucking Kingdom. Let's go! And the concept art looked amazing. It had Maleficent's dragon. You know Maleficent is the number one villain ever, so they're gonna have to have her represented. Like the whole artwork, the concept is just they haven't even showed us shit. They just showed us a concept art that the Disney animators made. But and I'm just like, oh, when they announced that, I thought it was a prank because we've been begging for a villain's land. We've been actually the fans have been begging for a whole new theme park just dedicated just to the villains. Because Disney own a lot of that swampland in Florida. Like there's a lot of swampland that they could use to build a fifth theme park if they wanted to. They just haven't done it. But we've been asking for a fifth gate, a fifth theme park. And everybody has always unanimously said villains. Well, they're not giving us a whole theme park, but they're giving us a land in the Magic Kingdom. And thank God it's coming to Florida and not California. Because man, it feels like all the good stuff goes to California or goes to like Disneyland Paris or Tokyo Disney Sea, like all the cool stuff that I like, it feels like they go straight to Cali or the foreign parks. But Disney World, we get the villain's land. When I tell you, everybody and their grandma was screaming, hooping, and hollering when they made that announcement. It's like every TikTok video, every YouTube video was going ham during that announcement, and I'm just so fucking happy. Look, when he said when they came out and played that quote and they said be prepared you poor unfortunate souls, man, the whole room erupted. All you can hear on those videos, laying open now. I'm pretty sure this shit ain't gonna be open till like 2026, 2027. But when it does, my fall break, my spring break, all the breaks that I don't have to work. I'm gonna find a way to be at Walt Disney World when that shit opens. But that was my biggest news as far as the theme parks. Now let's hit over to California because they got some love too. California is finally getting the Avatar theme land like we have in Florida. Ours is in Animal Kingdom, but Cali, they only got 2 parks. They don't have 4 parks. So it's going to be an Avatar land where they get the same rides, restaurants, stuff, which is pretty dope. It's pretty cool. So now the California people don't have to travel all the way to Florida just to experience it. It'll be in their own backyard. And then Disneyland Paris, I don't know if I'll ever go. Traveling to Europe seems, it's not impossible, but it seems like a hassle for me. But I might go now thanks to these announcements. Disneyland Paris will get a frozen land, a frozen adventure with a ride, and it's going to be and they said it's going to be a totally different version from the one in Florida in America. So the frozen ride and stuff that we have here in Florida, they said it's going to be totally different in Disneyland Paris. So I would love to go and experience that. And then they also announced that they're also getting a Lion King ride, a water ride, a Lion King water ride at Disneyland Paris. So those two alone might get me to get my passport and go across the pond to good old England, and make my way to Paris for Disneyland Paris. And then the next big, huge, major announcement that I'm super, super pumped about, Disney Cruise Line. Disney Cruise Line has been around for a while, and yes, they are expensive compared to all the other cruises, but for me, it's well worth the money. I would rather save up 2, 3, 4 years worth of money to go all out on a Disney cruise than any of the other cruise lines. I rather, don't get me wrong, I love Carnival and Royal Caribbean is fine, but it's something about that Disney magic on the ocean, on the boat, in their private islands. And they got a brand new private island that I didn't know about because it's been a minute since I cruised with them. But they just announced that they're giving us 4 new ships. 4 new ships. They already got like 6. Now we get 4 new ships, which means it's going to be a lot of sailings. So hopefully all 4 ships will be dispersed at different locations. So you can either port out of Orlando or port out of New Orleans or port out of Cali and go to different destinations instead of everybody being conjugated into that one in Florida. But we'll see. But they did announce they're giving us 4 new ships. So hopefully 4 more different opportunities and excursions and explorations and adventures to go on. Super pumped about that because I'm a cruise head. I love being in the water. I love being on ships. That's my vibe. Matter of fact, I'm graduating with my master's degree in May, and my family and I are going on a cruise to celebrate. It won't be Disney. It'll be Carnival. But after this Carnival trip, the next cruise I save my money up for is going to be Disney. I need to go back. It's been a long time since we've been on a Disney ship. So super, super pumped for that news. Okay, let's make sure I don't miss anything else before we go to any other announcements and my thoughts, because there's been some big moments. Oh, Broadway, yes. There has been some Broadway announcements for those because everybody knows Disney will adapt some of their films and go to Broadway. And so they are talking about, they announced that Hercules will go on Broadway. I gotta see that. Hopefully these Broadway shows will travel eventually. You probably won't travel the first year, probably just stay directly on Broadway, but hey, that would be an excuse to go to New York. You know what I'm saying? That would be an excuse to go to see Hercules live on stage on Broadway. There will be a live Moana show on one of the cruise ships, because they also do like theater shows on the cruise ships. So there will be a live Moana theater show on one of the cruise ships. They also announced that they're bringing The Greatest Showman. If you watch that film, which I love, it's a musical, The Greatest Showman. They're bringing that. They did not give us any exact dates, but they're bringing that to Broadway. And I believe those were the other biggest news. Um, let's see. Let me make sure I got all of that. Now, games. Yes. So they also, for those video game people like me, I haven't played in a long time, but I still love my Nintendo Switch. For those video game people, they are giving we're getting some Pixar games, some Marvel games, some Star Wars games, but they're also bringing a lot of things to Fortnite. I guess either Disney bought the company or they're partnering, licensing the company with Fortnite, but there's going to be a lot of Disney villains, Marvel, Pixar, Star Wars, including Doctor Doom coming to Fortnite. So if you like those skins, you like playing with different characters on their game, they announced that they're bringing all that shit. Also, for those Disney fans like me, Epic Mickey is coming back. Epic Mickey is coming back, and I think it's going to be on all platforms: PlayStation, Xbox, and the Nintendo Switch and PC. I will definitely be getting the Nintendo. It's already on pre-order. It's already on pre-order at Target, Best Buy, Walmart. So I will be getting Epic Mickey. I think it's called Rebrushed. So I'm super excited about that. And they did not give us a date, but I think Xbox, they're going to get a Blade game. They did not give an exact date, but they did leak that information out, or someone who went to the panels of the games leaked the information out that there will be a Blade game coming. I don't have an Xbox, but they might make me get one for Blade. I'm not going to do it till it becomes set in stone. Once it becomes set in stone that there is a Blade game coming and it's not going to be on any other console but Xbox, I might have to go ahead and shell out and get me an Xbox. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? Now, let's see. Let me make sure. Oh, and also at Disneyland, I forgot, they're expanding the Avengers land area with a whole bunch of new stuff, new attractions, new rides, new characters. Hopefully, right now, Deadpool is temporary, but hopefully, I think they did like a temporary like story time for Deadpool at Disneyland. Hopefully, he becomes a staple and stay there for like the meet and greets and stuff like that. Even if the character don't talk and they just take pictures, I don't care. I just want a Deadpool meet and greet at the theme parks. And I know because of contracts and Marvel and all that, blah, 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 we can't have a lot of Marvel characters in Florida, but Disneyland got free reign with the Avengers land area over there. So, and also, oh, Pixar's Coco. Pixar's Coco is also coming to Disney's California Adventure. So Florida is getting an Encanto attraction, and California is getting Coco. So all that Hispanic representation is coming to both parks. If you love both those films like I do, and Coco is triggering for me because that movie came out the year my grandma passed. So, but I still love that movie. It's amazing, and I will travel to Cali to see that attraction. Um, and then, of course, oh, they also announced at Disney World there's going to be 2 new lounges for us adults that like to go and party and drink and have a good time and vibe and have a exclusive bar or lounge all to ourselves. There's going to be a Pirates of the Caribbean one, and there's going to be a Spaceship Earth one in Epcot. So Spaceship Earth is in Epcot. There's going to be a special lounge there, and there's going to be a Pirates of the Caribbean lounge and Disney World. So if you want to go and get you some wine, some beer, whatever at a bar, just lounge out, cool, chill it, and vibe out. For us grown folks, of us grown Disney nerds, we got 2 lounges coming. Let's see. And I think that's it for the biggest news as far as theme parks go. So I'm super pumped when it comes to theme parks. Most definitely for Villains Land, for the lounges, for the cruise lines, for Encanto. I'm still saying RIP dinosaur ride, but I'm optimistic about Indiana Jones ride. And But yeah, those were some of the biggest highlights that came out Saturday and Sunday at D23 Expo. Let's see. Trying to make sure I don't forget anything else. We talked about the video games, Epic Games, the cruises, all the theme parks getting their special editions. But yeah, all I know is after seeing all of this, I'm not missing the next D23. I'm not. Luckily, this expo happens every 2 years. So I will be there in 2026. I will save up my money and I will go to California, to Anaheim, to this expo because I want to be there when it happens. I want to be there when the news breaks. I want to be there with all my Disney nerd family, um, and just have a good time. I would rather spend money to go to D23 than go to Comic Con. And my biggest dream is to one day go to Comic Con in San Diego. But nah, I picked D23. I gotta go there. But it was amazing to see all this news and to see all this cool stuff that's happening. And I'm so glad we got Bob Iger back as CEO because he is turning this ship around and fixing what Chapek fucked up royally. Uh, and so I feel like we're coming back slowly but surely. Slowly but surely, we are coming back to the theme parks, and pretty much the company I fell in love with in the first place. That gave us all the magic and made going on vacation worthwhile. Um, and bringing the videos and movies and TV shows to life. And everybody got their fandoms, their geekdom. Some people like anime, some people like sports, some people like, you know, anything. Dragon Ball Z, Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings, things like that. Me, I'm a Disney boy. I'm a Disney head. My name Elias came from Walt Disney. When I came out as trans and I had to pick my new name, I chose Walt's middle name, which is Elias. So I'm a big Disney nerd. And so D23 really it was very euphoric to see all those videos online, to see the announcements, to hear on different Disney podcasts, all the big news coming out in the theme parks and the cruise ships and from the studios, the movie and music studios and things like that. So I'm super pumped. Can't wait for the next expo in 2026. I am going hands down, and y'all know because I'm gonna still be vlogging, I'm still be YouTube, and I ain't slowing down anytime soon, baby. Y'all won't see me stop being a content creator. So y'all will follow the journey and see that eventually in 2 years. But it won't be 2 years before I go to the theme parks. Matter of fact, me and my sister are planning the trip for April coming up. So um y'all will see more Disney news, Disney content. I'm slowly but surely mixing and incorporating that back into this channel because I love it. I love it. And I review a lot of Disney movies and TV shows. So it makes sense. It makes sense. I'm never going to stop. Never going to stop. So, but thank y'all for tapping in to this special episode of Snake Cinema Podcast, where I discuss my thoughts about all the D23 news from all the theme parks and more. And again, if you missed part one, where I talked about most of the movies and that were announced, that was in last week's Snake Cinema Podcast episode at the very beginning, so you can watch that. If I did not talk about what you thought I was going to talk about in this episode, I did not want to repeat the same stuff. So go back and watch last week's episode. And next week, we have the House of the Dragons review. We are reviewing season 1 and season 2, and we might tap in and talk a little Game of Thrones. I have a lot of special guests coming. I have a lot of special guests. I have from my reptile community, my reptile homies, ENT, Row 50, Wiz, Keys Constrictors. A lot of people are tapping in so we can nerd out and geek out about all things Game of Thrones and House of the Dragons. So tune in next Saturday, 9 a.m. Central Time. And lastly, please, if you can, donate to my sister Maki's GoFundMe. She has surgery coming up actually this coming Monday. due to the wreck, the car, when the car had ran her over while she was on her motorcycle. They're finally giving her surgery, but she has not been at work since May because she physically cannot. So if you can, share this link out, share the GoFundMe out. If you could donate $1, $5, whatever your heart puts on you, please do. She will greatly appreciate it. And lastly, again, we are sponsored by, shout out to my sponsors, Mutation Station, Lucy Land Ball Pythons, Candy Lady Creations, Flexing and Finessing Reptiles, and Shed Outfitters. I'll see y'all next week. House of the Dragons episode. It's going to be live, not pre-recorded like this one. But thank y'all for tuning in. I hope everybody's having a blessed and fun Daytona and blessed and safe weekend, even if you did not make it to Daytona like me. And we'll check y'all next week. Peace.
Cinema podcast stepping in. Your one-stop review, let it sink in. Hip-hop vibes, we break it down. Laughs and insights all around. Every episode, spitting truth. Old school jams and the latest youth. We keep it real, no sugarcoat. Pop culture on the mic we wrote. So tell your friends and hit subscribe. Snake Cinema here to vibe. Tune in weekly, don't miss a beat. We're the hottest review in your street. Snake Cinema podcast, stepping in. Your one-stop review, let it sink in. Hip-hop vibe, we break it down. Laughs and insights all around.